Hello, everybody, and welcome back to episode 1 of the World of Havoc. Now, we've already made our 4 characters. Their portraits are in the corners of your view here. So, to reintroduce them, we have Wolf. He's our fighter, level 2, on the top left of the screen. He vaguely resembles Carl Urban from Dread 3D, though without a beard. Now, his backstory, as I have mentioned, I would be introducing in this episode. He has a nomad backstory. He was a bandit at birth, raised by a now disbanded guild. So that's his very short, brief backstory. Then we have our number 2 in charge, Rayla. She's a female thief, elf, level 1. She's right here. Her short backstory is that she is a daughter to slave parents. She escaped, they did not. She lived and grew up in the streets, basically, as a thief. And she looks like Anya Taylor-Joy from Furiosa, the actress mainly, not specifically that movie, but that's what AI spit out. And I will take the pictures as they are. Next, we have the bottom left corner, number 3 in charge, Theus. He's our magic user. He's human level 1. He is supposed to resemble, to an extent, Adrian Brody from The Pianist. That's him on the bottom left corner. His backstory is he is the son to a wealthy family. Family was blackmailed. Now he's on the run himself. Our fourth and final character is our cleric. He is Darbos, bottom right corner of the screen. He is a human. He is supposed to look like Sean Bean from GoldenEye, roughly. Again, these pictures are vaguely similar. But his backstory is he is a member of the Church of Elders, banished due to questioning their loyalty of his leaders, due to his questioning loyalty of his leaders. So he basically grew doubt and he was banished. So that's their very simple backstories. We can always expand on them as we develop these characters. Now, where to begin? So, a few housekeeping things, notes. First, the whole 1, 2, 3, 4. It's not necessarily that they're in charge. Wolf is going to be the boss in my eyes, but that's just a way for me to keep track during combat. So more so, it's not who's in charge, but who is in order of combat when it's their turn in initiative. Here's our map. It is 26 by 26, so we have 1 through 26. This is Exeter. This does take place in my typical go-to world of Exeter. It's always ever changing. It used to be a supercontinent, it used to be an island, etc. We have A through Z, so it's a perfect square almost. Perfect square. And because this is kind of a indirect sequel to the last Havoc playtest campaign, we don't know entirely just yet how these 4 met, but I have an idea where to put them. So in the previous Havoc playtest, our team, or specifically Wolf, was stuck in a cursed, ghostly village, and he had to free the spirits. So he has escaped to that village. I completely forgot the name of it, but he has completed that task, which, after a brief boss fight, he gained a level. Now, like I said, I will not be tracking experience, through looting gold, which was the traditional sense in White Box in the earlier years of D&D for players of RPGs back in the 80s, 70s, 80s. When you gather gold, you gain XP, and there's a bonus for your type of class. I could have done that, but for myself, I prefer a milestone system. It makes things a little easier, and it's more rewarding when you defeat or you achieve a monumental task. That said player character can grow. So, and I mentioned this in my last video. Typically, how I like to roll up these skill checks is that If the situation is calm, then I will use a roll at or below their actual score. But if it's a chaotic moment, if the moment calls for Havoc, I will roll at a set DC and only use the modifier of the skill, the attribute being used. So let's figure out where our characters will start. Because we have a 26 total spacing here by 26 by 26, I'm going to roll a 20-sided die along with a d6 to get that 26. This will determine where we start horizontally, longitude. So we're rolling here. That's going to be a 14. So keep that in mind. 14. I'll note down my pad here by, and then this will be obviously for A through 2. Okay, so B. B will be 14B. We are starting up here. Now, this will be our starting location. Question is, what exactly is this area? Now, before I forget, I'm going to grab my table fables, which I will use to an extent for the method of content generation, Oracle. But I'm going to challenge myself in this episode. I'm not going to use this too often. I want to basically uh, think of everything on the spot, something I haven't done in a while. I want to be able to reignite that passion I had from the days of improv and these videos where just content just comes straight to my mind, and we'll see. So let's use a frame of reference. Wolf was already in an area that was cursed, dark, bleak, gritty. Perhaps there were a lot of dead plant life. There was no vegetation. It was grim, dark. So perhaps mountainous terrain, which um, there's a frame of reference right there. The world of Havoc is dark, grotesque, lots of mountains, spiky cliff sides, and that very ominous castle kingdom in the very distance. So that kingdom can be in our world here. Let's put it somewhere in the south side of the map. So to make sure I have my orientation correct, we will say that this is the direction. Whoops, this is going to be our northeast, west, south. So we have south, east, north, west, and okay. So we have west, east. That kingdom that we saw in the distance is going to be at the very center tile. This is not a hex, obviously. This is a grid, which that's what I have available at the moment. So 13 is half 26, which means we'll pull it right down here. Let's go off the edge just a bit, and we'll say that this will be a kingdom. So I'll draw just a symbol here. And so my reference will be W14, which is going to be Kingdom of, let's think of a name. Thinking of the letter S. Shadow is probably too on the nose, perhaps. You know, Shadow will be fine, but let's do Shadowscape. So W14 is right here. That's going to be Shadowscape. And there's mountains around it. At least these parallel tiles, if you guys can see that. So we have Shadowscape, the Kingdom of Shadowscape right here. And our team is all the way up north in this area here. So this space, let's roll up the oracle. Let's grab our oracle dice, which is always a D100. Now, let's ask the oracle to narrow down a potential answer. Does this area have any vegetation? I'm going to say, based on the prior series I recorded, 50% chance I just actually 50. It does. Okay, so it has a heavy diluted forest. So we'll do a forest around it for consistency purposes, like that. And the village that some time ago Wolf was in is all the way over here. We'll do one little house, and I can do that. Let's do just a shape of a house. There we go. B7 will be, what was the village name? I don't recall what AI spit out originally. I think it was Dark Hollow. You know what? I'll just go with Dark Hollow. All these names are going to be something in pun of dark. So Dark Hollow. Put village just as a little key of reference here. And then we are in this area here, which means that we took a road perhaps through this area, and it cuts through. Perhaps we set up camp. I'm going to say there's a lake here, which would explain the little angle in the road. There we go. Just a little lake, nothing, only a few tiles wide. Now our team is setting up camp, which means the time of day. Let's roll this D100. So basically, a 1 through 10 would be very early evening. Or, I'm sorry, super early morning, 12 a.m. basically. Or I can do this. If we want to be really accurate, I'm gonna grab a D4 because this game does not use white box does not use, well, it's based on what I saw, does not use dice outside of either a D6 or a D20. So I will use a D4 to get a total of 24 hours in a day, and we will roll these together. So it's 5 o'clock in the morning, 5 a.m. Okay. I'm going to try my best to track time, weather, and let me put the note up here. So we have our friend here is blocking it, but I'm just putting a note down in, I'll put over here. So 5 a.m. And the weather for the condition of the weather, let's roll for it. Calm is 1 through 10. 90 more is basically hurricane weather. So 26, it's partly cloudy. So it's nothing really to be worried about. Partly cloudy. That means that we are on the tail end of our camp, our um, our night's rest after whatever our team was doing. So we have to figure out what they were doing to get some context as to what's driving them to leave Dark Hollow and proceed on this path, which will go all the way here. Let's say their destination is in this square 15, K15. So K15 will be a small, let's roll for it. Before I say anything else, the D100 represents the size of this location. 36 will be a town. This town, let's see, a village is usually one little house. A town, I'll put two buildings side by side or kind of like that. This town, I'll be sure to square off my locations too, which will help me distinguish them from the surrounding tiles. So this town will be called Hexbury. It is a town, and I think it's just the next logical stop in their travels to get to the Kingdom of Shadowscape. So I want to say that one of these characters has something of great value, and they believe if they return this item back to Shadowscape where it rightfully belongs, then their this current quest they're on is complete. So we're throwing them in a situation. They just achieved something. They just completed a packaged pickup kind of quest, a carrier quest. So they were tasked from traveling all the way. We'll reveal these tiles as we go, but all the way, obviously into the mountains. We'll have to draw kind of around like this. They went from Shadowscape all the way through whatever this area here was here. Their pit stop of Hexberry. I'll make that an A. Hexberry. Then they came through all the way to Dark Hollow. Maybe it is the ruby. Maybe it is the ruby that um, again, it's escaping me what I did with it in the last episode. I don't even think the wolf had his hands on it, but it doesn't matter. I'm going to retcon it as much as Dragon Ball does to their series. I'm going to retcon something as of lately. If you've been watching Diama, I'm going to give the quest item to Wolf. He's going to be holding on to the ruby of fire. It is just the name of it. It's not technically on fire, but he has it on him, and they are supposed to return it. I'll write this down on our notepad here. So, star item, the quest is to retrieve and return the ruby of fire. Oh, you know what? Actually, instead of the ruby of fire, let's call it return. Let's call it the Firestone, which is a Pokemon reference, I think. Turn the Firestone back to the King of Shadowscape. Well, we can get a name later on, but he's just known as the King. So the Firestone, I'm thinking of an old series I did for my channel, or was going to do, but never saw the dawn of light. Basically, I have this idea unfolding in my head right now for you guys as this campaign begins. Dragons no longer exist in this realm. They have died off after a great war or by some kind of plague for dragons. I don't know, but we can figure that out later. Perhaps once we have the team is talking amongst themselves, depending on how deep I roleplay into these characters. The Firestone is a heart of the literal heart, frozen in time, that belonged to a dragon, and they are extremely valuable because dragons, as they died off, they disintegrated, they turned to ash, but the hearts remained, and they're spread across this land. So maybe the Havoc term was known as the dragons themselves. They were referred to as the dragons of Havoc. Perhaps there was an elite number of dragons that were the most powerful amongst the race of dragons themselves that lived in this world of Havoc, and they were known as the Dragons of Havoc. So I'm going to write this down because this is making more sense now. So contextually, Dragons of Havoc. Let's say that dragons are extinct and their hearts are stone, valuable. That's it. Dragons of Havoc, they were the elite, most powerful dragons, like I said, of the race of dragons, and their hearts are spread across these lands as physical stones, different names like maybe the ice stone, the water, as vague as I can be. These stones all had names based on the dragon's origin. So if it's a fire-breathing dragon, it's known as a firestone. So the type of dragon led to the naming of the stone. So basically, the dragon equals the name, the type of stone, the heartstone. They're not, I don't think like one of a kind, but there were, a handful of fire-breathing dragons. Perhaps they are just referred to as fire stones. So whatever our team did, whatever these four guys did, they took care of what they had to do, picked up the stone, defeated someone. Perhaps that was Wolf himself, and the team was on their way. Originally, in my previous series, he was with the Nomad Single Traveler, Mad Max style. But they got the stone. That's all that matters. Now they are setting up camp here. They just, it's 5 a.m. They just woke up. This world is dark, grim, brutal, ominous, which means we have to roll for encounter. So let's figure out if we do encounter anybody. I can roll up and see what enemies we encountered here. I know there's a monster section here. There it is. So we are currently in a wilderness encounter table. So what I'll do, set my characters off to the side here, and we will, that's the underworld encounter levels. We have it here. So we are currently in the forest, accurately. Not open, but we're in the forest right here in this tile of B14. Let me write that down. I'm trying to keep track of what tiles I'm in. So I'll square off the tile name. If there is no actual name of the tile, like if it's not a location or an area of interest, it's just a tile. B14, 5 a.m., partly cloudy. It's roughly the team is about to wake up, ready for work. We have forest, and I have a roll of D10, so that is a dice that's different than what I have on the table. So I'll grab my blue D10, and then, well, actually, I do have the D10, the white die, so I'll stick with that. Okay, so rolling. I was mistaken. This book does have other dice. There's a D12 in here. There's a D10 in here. That's fine. I'll stick corrected. We're rolling for if there is an encounter. So it says dragon, obviously, which that would be actually insane. So what I'll do, we'll roll a question for the Oracle. I'm going to break norms here and prepare some monsters of my own choosing, not from that list, but basically creatures that seem dark enough, but are not going to be out of this world or too dangerous to do. I have one in mind already. You guys probably saw it. All right, so do we encounter any creatures or any enemies in this tile? That's the question for the Oracle. I'm going to say 50-50, honestly. Well, we're near a lake, so let's increase that to 60% chance. Ooh, 7. That's a very strong yes. Which means we encounter, I'm going to say, let's roll d4 for how many creatures? Let's see. Let's do a d6. 5 of them. Okay, so we encounter 5 creatures, monsters. These will be ghouls. I saw that briefly here. They have an AC of 13, which is not terribly threatening, but let's get these guys lined up here properly off camera, just slightly off camera. We have ghouls, and there is 5 of them. So we have ghoul. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Because our team is very weak and level 1, I will not put off their hit die of 2. I'm going to give them a low health. This is our first encounter. I want to get these guys warmed up a bit for their adventure to follow. The AC of these ghouls will be, let's say, I'm thinking, let's see, ghoul. It says 13. Let's do 12. AC 12. Their hit die is 2. Ghouls are pack hunting undead corp eaters. And their damage, it doesn't say. So what I'll do is 1d6 minus 1, like a goblin. Their damage is that. Their health will be, let's see, HP, 2 each. So, number 1. Okay, there we go. So we have our team here. I'll stand up for this. We are ready to go. We have our first encounter. Let me get some encounter music going. Okay, got some kind of spookyish, slow cinematic music going in the background. All right. We need to roll for initiative. So in this game, let's go to combat, which was a little further past the character creation page. And combat intent, we know that these creatures are going to be, if they're ghouls, I'm going to assume that they are going to be hostile. So they are attacking us right when we are awakened to them. And to determine that, initiative, determine one roll each side, no for each independent. So we have to figure out who goes first. Let's say referee determines that one side is entitled to a free attack or more. Are we surprised? Let's just house rule it to an extent. I'll use red is for always typically enemies, and our team is going to be blue. We're rolling. Whoever has the highest roll goes first in this round. Okay, we go first in this round. So let's see here. I have an idea. I'm going to track the rounds on the side here. So this is the team, and this is the enemies. All right, we go first. Now, let's say that Wolf is obviously first to attack. He is on watch, and he sees the ghoul, the first ghoul, step out of the brush of the trees. So he pulls out his weapon, which is going to be his battle axe. That's his mightiest weapon, 1d6 plus 1. So we have to roll for hit. Now their AC is 12. I'm using ascending AC. 12 for Wolf. He has to land a 10 or higher for a mysteriously missing blue d20. There it is. We have to roll an AC of 12 or more. Sorry, 10 or more. That's going to be a miss because he has +1 strength and +1 based on his level. So 2 essentially. But that's a miss because he needed to hit 12 AC. So Wolf, swing and a miss. Next is Rayla. She's a thief. So is she in the shadows? Does she have the advantage here? Did they spot her? Let's ask the Oracle. Was Rayla sleeping off the side, or was she in the shadows on watch too? I'm going to say 75% chance. She was. Okay, so she has an advantage here. Basically, she has backstab, which is +2 attack bonus on her existing attack rolls. So she's going to roll for attack. She'll go after, we'll just pick up enemy as we go. So she's rolling for attack with her daggers, so there's 2 of them. Or, from a distance, let's use her short bow, perhaps. I could. I have an idea. I could be. We are playing this Theater of the Mind. I could use a grid, a map with figures. For this one, I'm already set up for Theater of the Mind. Let's just play Theater of the Mind for now. Next episode, I'll have a grid off camera set. Kind of pass my mind on that. So she attacks with her bow, and that's a critical fail. She misses. I will say that because she missed, they alerted one ghoul to go after her, and so one ghoul will attack her in this moment, rolling at her AC of 12. That is also a miss. Okay, both a critical fail. Okay, I'll leave it at that. We'll let it. We'll move on to our magic user. He can't do much. He just has a dagger. So that is what he'll try. He has Detect Magic, but that's completely useless right now. Unless he's one. Now, are ghouls common in this area? Let's figure this out. Let's ask the question to the Oracle. Are ghouls common in this area? I'm going to say 75% chance. They are not. So, he has his suspicions that these ghouls were spawned by an external force. So he's going to use Detect Magic. I'm not doing magic really properly in this game, but he uses it, and he's not going to be able to use it again for this match. But he uses it. Does it work? Does he find anything unusual in the area? Does he detect any magic? I'm going to say, oh, you know what? Let's roll this. Roll d20. It is a chaotic situation, so we'll roll wisdom for this. Actually, magic users, I think are, will that be for intelligence? Let's see here. Let's pull up our character creation process. And wisdom is for cleric, magic users, intelligence. Okay, I just wanted to double check. I know I was mistaken there. So he has to roll 12 or more. 5. That's interference at the table. We'll roll again. Okay, still a fail. So he sees magic through the air around the ghouls, but he can't really get a sense of what kind of magic we're dealing with here. So he used a spell. I'm going to let him now use an attack. So he's going to attack a ghoul with his dagger. That's all he has. And let's roll for attack. Again, their AC is 12. That's going to be a miss. Now it is on to our cleric. Darbos sits up and he rushes heroically at one of the ghouls, one of the 5. Now, he has a helmet, he has a shield, and he has a chainmail. All he has as a weapon is a mace. So he's rolling for attack. And that landed on a 2. We're doing terrible today with rolls. Now, it is the ghoul's turn. So let's reset our counter for the team. There we go. Okay. The ghouls attack. They're going to attack Wolf, because he was the first one to strike. So let's roll for it. 3, that's a miss. The second ghoul. 13, let's see, who's he hit? Or who will this go after? I'm going to say he tries to go after Wolf. That's going to be a miss because he has AC of 14. But I will now use a D4 to dictate who they choose to attack. The third ghoul goes after, and we'll roll for the choice. 1 is Wolf again, 7 is a miss. Okay, the fourth ghoul is going to be 18 is most likely a hit on 1. That is going to be Wolf. And D6 minus 1 damage. 4 minus 1, that's 3 damage. He's down to 3. He takes a huge hit. And there's no potion, nothing, just rations. That's not good, but maybe I'm being too harsh on these guys. So, he's down to 1. Or he's down to 1 HP. You know what? Not liking how that's turning out. I think I'm being a little too difficult on my guys here. Because he was up from the previous level, I'm going to bump his HP up to 8. I am cheating here. This will make some of you yell at the screen, but I'm going to cheat him. I will put him up to 8, but I will maintain the damage that we rolled. So 3. So that's 765. I might do that for the other characters because, again, this is a solo play in the Dark Rim world. I'm giving him a little extra boost to survive. So now we are on to the final ghoul. And he is going to attack whoever rolls here at 3. That's going to be Thea. The roll of 8 is a miss, luckily, because Theus only has a 10 armor class. Okay, now we're back to our group. Okay, so back to Wolf. We just did the round for enemy. Now it's back to our team. In my rounds, I basically go left team, whoever rolls first, and then the next one. I don't roll a fresh initiative per round. I won't be doing that for this one. Okay, Wolf is going to attack one of the ghouls. We're going to be using his battle axe. Roll it for d20 here. That's going to be missed. Damn, terrible rolls. All right, next is... Let's see, where's my number 2? There he is. Okay. Next is our thief, Rayla. She attacks. 13 is a hit. About time. Roll for damage with Thea's 2 daggers. That'll be 2d6. Minus 1 per. We'll be using her daggers this time. 5, so that's 4. So she takes out 1 ghoul. That'll be number 1. 1 goes down. Next is going to be Theus. Okay, we'll keep these d6 off the side. Theus will attack with his dagger. That's a miss. He's completely useless in combat. Then we have Darbos, our cleric. Roll for damage, or roll for attack. 8 as a miss. Maybe I need an actual roller. Let's try it again. It doesn't really matter at all. So, just not rolling good today. That's our team. Now it's back to the enemies. So, let's roll the d20. 2, that's a miss. That's the first ghoul. The second ghoul, I think I lost count last time. Third ghoul's a miss. Sorry, second ghoul's a miss. Third ghoul, that's also a miss. Bad rolls for everyone today. 12 is going to be, let's see, number 2. That's a hit, unfortunately. And then damage will be, oh my god, 6-5. That's also the top. So I'm going to give her, Kayla, a boost to 10. Actually, that wouldn't be fair. Let's say 6. So she's on her last. Maybe perhaps a d6 is too much for these guys right now. Let's do this. I'm gonna change their attack die to a d4 per se. So d4 minus 1. I think d6 is just too much for them right now. And this is the first bout. So I should get my where's the d4 at? I'm using it right now for that. Okay, so I'm still trying to figure, still trying to get my bearings here. So I am so angry right now. So we have D. I'll give her 6. Let's roll for damage with D4. Okay, so 4 minus 1, that's me 3. So she takes 3 damage. She's down to 3 now. Okay, that's all right. That was now. Let's go to the 4th goal. I keep losing count. I keep looking aside. Let's roll for the 4th goal. That's a miss. The 5th goal, 6. That's also a miss. Okay. Now, back to our team. You know what? I just thought of something. This might work. Okay, I do apologize, but this might work. Karen rules. You roll all the attack die, all the damage die, and you choose the highest roll. I can do that. I can roll for each ghoul, see who has the highest roll, and then roll the AC, and see if they hit the character roll with the D4. Let's try that out next time. So we'll have our team roll per character. So Wolf, that's going to be a miss. That's going to be Kayla. She actually hit one of them. So we'll do D6. 3 damage. Her is a 2 daggers. So that's going to be minus 1 for each. So 4, 2. That definitely takes out 1 ghoul. So we're down to 3 ghouls now. I think I was rolling for a dead ghoul. So I apologize. Again, combat is my weak point in RPGs. I'm going to have to keep working on that. But now we move on to Theus. Theus will attack. 7. That's a miss. Then we have Darbos, our cleric. Roll of 1. They're not doing good today. I'm not going to do a fumble on that one. Next. Okay, so here's what I'm thinking. We have a group roll, cumulative, and it has to hit. Let's see. Let me pause the video for a second. I'm trying to house roll combat here, make it quick. Okay, I was doing some thinking. I want to try something really odd. Now, typically, it's currently the ghoul's turn. We killed 2 of them so far. But what I want to do is go this at the same time, if that makes sense. So basically, we have the 3 ghouls left, and they will attack our team in order. So here we go. They're trying to go after Wolf. All right, so Wolf got an 11, which is a miss. They got a 13, which is a miss. Now we'll do Rayla. Okay. 17, so they get a hit. Oh no, we get a hit. Sorry, Rayla gets a hit. And that's going to be a d6 roll, 2d6 rolls minus 1 with her daggers. So 3, 3. That will take out another ghoul. Okay. So basically that's how I'm going to do combat. We'll roll down. I'm going to work my way down the list to just keep it swift and chaotic. All right, now it's going to be Theus. Okay. All right, so they got a hit on Theus. This will be the d4 minus 1. Theus has AC of 3, so we'll see how this goes. He did not get a hit on them. 3 minus 1. So that's going to be a 2 damage. Okay, so he's down. We'll bump him up to, let's see, how is this fair in the scope of the others? Darvos, we haven't affected yet. I'll put him to 4. But it takes 2 damage, so he's down to 2. So again, I do apologize. I am kind of giving them an advantage here. I want to work them into this. So now it's going to be Darbos here. Okay, we're rolling. Ooh, okay, so they both hit each other. So their hits will land no matter what. 15. Darbos has his mace. It's a straight d6 roll. 1 damage. That's going to be minus 1 for ghoul number 4. They land a hit on Darbos. Now let's take a look at his HP. 5 in comparison. Working our way down here. Wolf has 8, 6, 4. He's a cleric. He should have a little more. We'll put him at... Actually, I think 5 is okay. I'm just trying to think, because Wolf is level 2, so I think that's fine. So we did his damage, now we gotta do their damage. 2, that's minus 1, so he takes 1 damage. 4. I guess I could always do this. Because the game is only d6s, if I do a 1d6 minus 3 for the damage die, that would make more sense. Let's just keep it like that. 1d minus 6. They have a pretty weak attack, but they are strong in numbers. Okay, back to the top. We have 2 ghouls left. We're just working our way down the list. Now this is Wolf. 10 to 15. No one hits anything. Next is going to be Kayla. Alright, so they landed a hit. Kayla did not. So they will do 1d6 minus 3 damage. Hopefully it's not 3, which it's a total 3. Okay, so Kayla is unconscious. So we'll do this. All right, you know what? She goes. That's. Oh, I'm sorry. -3. That's 3 damage. She's at 0. She's unconscious. So let's say status. She collapses, unconscious. We can't use her, but she's not dead. To be dead, she has to be -1. Because I'm doing the rule of the level, -1 would be dead. So she's unconscious. All right, next we'll move on to Theist. Giving us a really strong enemies here, even though I handicapped them. Okay, Theist attacks. 14. Okay, so he got a hit. They did not. 1d6 -1 damage. 5. Seriously? I always drop my stuff here. That takes out the weakest ghoul, number 4. So now, the last ghoul left. Now we're on to Darbus. Darbus attacks. And so does the ghoul. Unfortunately, the ghoul strikes first. Or strikes. Darbus misses. Oh, Darbus has an AC of, which it still hits. I just forgot he had a high AC. So damage roll 1d6. It should be the red die. 1d6 -3. I'm going to reroll even though it was a 3. -3, so that's going to be a flat 1. So he takes 1 hit. All right. There we go. Now we're back to Wolf. Okay, that's good. Oh man, our team is doing terrible today. It's a mess, but still, no one hit anything. Okay, back to Rayla. Oh, that's kind of on teeter on the edge there. I'm gonna re-roll for interference. 14, that's still a hit. Okay. Oh shoot. Oh no, she's unconscious, so she can't be attacked. So I'm gonna skip her. You know what? I'm gonna rewind here. That. Okay, Wolf. So Wolf is gonna try to resuscitate Rayla. Try to help her get her back up. So let's see if this is a success. This is a chaotic moment. Difficulty would be 15. This is a house rule. Just try to help her. Let's see. That doesn't have a potion, but we'll just give her one HP if he's able to. So 15 with no modifier. He's not able to. Okay, so now we're back to. I believe I lost track here. Darvas went. Okay, now we're gonna do Theus. Man, really awful at this. Okay, rolling. Wow, we are doing terrible, and Theus gets hit. Okay. 1d6 -3. 5, that's 2 damage, and of course he's also knocked out. Oh my gosh. Okay. That's 2. So he's down to 0. He's also unconscious. I really did not do well putting them against comparable foes. The last ghoul, too. Okay, so he's unconscious. Man. Alright, here we go. This is Darbo. I think where he went. Of course, nobody hits anyone. Back to Wolf. He's still in play. Okay, no one hits anything. I'm not really liking my rolls today, so I'm going to try to change this up and use a an actual dice cup here. Let's see. Rayla does hit. Oh, Rayla's unconscious. Can't do anything. And the monster doesn't do anything either to her. Theus is unconscious. Darbos. Okay, we'll roll an attack. That is nothing. No one hits anything. Okay. Back to Wolf. Okay. Wow, I am so pissed off right now. This is not going well. No one is hitting anyone. There's one downside why I do not like D20 games. So, next, Kayla is out of the game. Theus is out. Darvos. It's one ghoul. Come on. Seriously. All right. I'm tempted to skip AC altogether and just go straight to damage, but that would also mean death. Imminent death. So, this was a failed roll. No one hit anyone. Back to. I might as well just keep the other two sheets out. They're incapacitated at the moment, so let's roll for damage. Or roll for attack. Or reroll blue. Okay, of course, interference, so that was still. Let's do a redo. No one hits anything. Alright, we're gonna try again. We have. Okay, finally got a hit there. So, doing damage. This was for. I think I didn't skip a card here. Wolf. 3. So, that's gonna be +1 damage. That's 4. And we finally take out the last goal after a very terrible encounter. I'm going to have to house rule encounters because that was absolutely terrible. But we nevertheless succeeded in defeating the ghouls. And for that, our team is going to have to recover. I will give them an additional few hours to rest. So we'll do a 1d4 house rule of quick heal. Or a 1d, let's do 1d4. So 1d4 heal for Wolf. He heals 2. That's 7. Okay, 2. It's going to be Rayla has to take a quick rest. She's incapacitated. 3 heal. I will do this from time to time. I'll give my team a heal after combat if they survive without going negative level to death. Now for Theus, 1. That's so he's only down to 1 now. So they cannot heal anymore unless they get a potion or other means, magical means. All right, now we have Darvos. Okay. He heals 1. That's fine. Okay, so combat was absolutely dreadful, but we made it. I'd say game would have been lost if they all died. So I think after this episode, I'm going to figure out a method of combat because I was trying several different methods there. I was even tempted to jump into skipping AC altogether, but that would have been bad because this game I want to try to stick to this game's rules at the heart rules to an extent. But I was so pissed off for to chuck this pencil across the room. But we defeated these creatures here. Now we're going to go over to this tile here. I am going to travel at an angle because, again, this is not hex. I don't have a hex sheet available. So we're going to this hex here. This is C15. Anything of interest at this hex besides, let's see, 25% chance, 84. So nothing of interest at this hex as far as items or other people. But will there be an encounter in this hex? We'll say 10% chance. No, there's no encounter. Okay, so this will be more trees. Like that. All right, now we're traveling. We're just leaving. I should have tracked time. So 15, C15. We are in C15 now. It's probably after the hour combat, 6 a.m. Still partly cloudy. And now we're going to be moving to this hex here, which is D. The last one was actually D15, so D16. move this over to here, D16. Let's say I actually erase that. D16. Okay. And it is going to be 7 a.m. Cloudy, actually. We're going to say it's a little, there's a bit more clouds up in the air now. And now let's see what we encounter here. Is there a forest in this tile? 50% there's not. So we have entered a clearing, the fields. Okay. Anything of interest in this tile? I'm gonna say 25% chance. Nothing. Okay. Next tile is going to be E17 right here. More fields. So D17, it's now going to be 8 a.m. D17, 8 a.m. All right. I don't think I have to track time so specifically. I don't have to, but let's say we're now down to D17. Anything of interest here? Let's say raise it up to 40% chance. No, there's nothing on this tile here. Okay, so next is this tile. Is it still fields? I'm going to say 65% chance. It is, yep. And actually, there's going to be there's going to be a farmland, perhaps, right here. So we'll do a farm, like that, right next door. Anything of interest in this tile? Let's say 75% chance. Yep, there. Okay, ooh, okay, there is. All right, so this tile, we are currently in F17. Is this an encounter? 50-50. It is. Okay. Another encounter. All right. Let's get the book. What creatures can we draw here? Let's see. Monsters. This is open forest. Let's get another monster list. So we have the bugbears. You know what? Actually, I did like that table from earlier. Let's say it was from. There we go. Monsters. Open. We have a D12. Let's do this one here. D12. You know what? I'm just going to use this tray. That's really bugging me now. 6. Okay. 6 is a cockatrice. I think I'm pronouncing that right. Whatever that is, let's see what that is. Cockatrice. Never heard of that before. Let's jump to that. Make sure we have it's stats properly. Oh, there it is, cockatrice. It is resembles a bat-winged rooster with a long serpentine tail. Its bite turns enemies to stone, which I will not do. Okay, so we'll run into just one of them. Okay, so we have an encounter. So let's see. We have a cockatrice. Cockatrice. Its HP will be. Let's see. It says 5. That's quite a bit. You know what? I'm going to change that to a. That's a bit out of range for our characters, especially for the level. Let's say a couple of goblins, perhaps. Right at the table here. Yeah, these monsters are way too difficult for our characters. Let's say it's a couple of goblins. Two goblins. All right, so we have two goblins. Their HP will be, we'll say 2, with an AC of 12, like before. So we have number 1, number 2. Their damage, though, will be... Actually, let's do AC 10. And ghouls. Damage will be 1d6 minus... 1d6 minus 2. Alright, here we go. Just like before. 6. Okay. So we run to some goblins. Alright, we got a critical. Wolf was able to avoid. So this will be 2 damage. 2d6 plus 1. That's going to be 9 plus 1 is 10 damage. We easily take out the first goblin. Okay. The second one remains. No, let's roll for the AC attack. This is Kayla. Kayla, I think it's, I'm sorry, Rayla. We hit. Okay, so much better roll so far. So we hit it with a d6 minus 1, 2d6, 2 daggers. That's obviously going to take out the next goblin. Okay, so that was a little quicker. So those goblins have been dispersed, have been killed. Okay, now we do recover some items here. Let's say, because they're goblins and they're traveling, let's say they dropped, perhaps the first one dropped 20 gold pieces and a weapon. So I'm going to go to my the weapon tree in this game. Missile items. Let's say dropped a long sword. And the second one dropped 14 gold pieces and a item. I'll go to the item list on the book. Dropped a potion, which is not in the book, but I'm going to give that to him. A potion. Alright. So Kayla will take the potion. She has no room for it, so she has to drop something. Actually, we'll give the potion to... she'll take the 20 gold pieces, that's obvious. So she's up to 37 gold. And then... Wolf will take the 14 gold pieces, put him up at 38. And then he'll take the longsword, which is going to be 1d6 plus, let's see, 1d6 plus nothing. It's just, I'm going to say, yeah, just a 1d6 plus 2. I'll give that to him. 1d6 plus 2. And he'll take the potion. Or one of the team members will use it. So I got the items. Let's see, who needs the potion more than anyone? Rayla is hurt. Theus is not in great shape. Theus will take the potion. He'll get a full heal from it. So 4, back to 4. Okay. So now the team sees there's a farmhouse here in tile F18. So let's jump over to F18. It's roughly, let's say, 10 a.m. Starting to light rain. Yep, light rain. And we're at a farmhouse. We're just seeking shelter. We see there's a cabin. There's a, let's say there's just an overhead arch. There's like a barn. So we're going to be in the barn. The house, is the farmhouse occupied? I'm doubting it actually for some reason. The crops maybe, at least the crops are dead. But is the farmhouse abandoned? At least the barn. 80% chance. Oh, it's not. Okay. So, as they open the barn, they open up the barn doors and they reveal, interesting, who is this? There's someone in the barn or either the farmhouse. Is the farmhouse abandoned? Let's say 50%. It's not. Okay, so there is a family at the farmhouse. But there's someone at the farmhouse, maybe a family. I'll put that in asterisks, possibly. But the barn, maybe they're just animals. Is it just farm animals, basically? Cow, horse, etc. It says 75% chance of the rain. Yep, it is. Okay, so there's just farm animals in the barn. Is there a person in the barn? 10% chance if it's raining. It is not. Okay, there's no one actually from the farmhouse who lives here in the barn. So the team, seeing the barn house, they go inside just to hide from the rain's picking up, and they just seek some quick shelter while the rain passes. The rain does pass eventually, and they leave. Do they encounter anything after leaving the barn? 50-50. Yes, they do. Okay. All right, so as they leave the barn, they see someone in the farmhouse. It does, to them, to our team, it does appear old and abandoned. The fields are dead of crop, but someone actually does leave the farmhouse, and it's an old man, possibly a human, with a, well, are they armed? Like a bow and arrow or a weapon of sorts? Because they just saw four individuals as the rain has cleared up, so it's now like partly cloudy again. But now there's an old man left leaving the farmhouse. Is he armed? I'm gonna say 65% chance. He is. Okay. So he has a bow and arrow, or let's say he has some kind of weapon standing in front of his house, and he points it to our team in an old voice and says, "You four, what are you doing on my property?" As he aims at the team. And as awkward as this is, Wolf explains. He lifts his hands because he's lawful. He says, "Pardon us, sir. We thought this barn was empty, but we just realized we were wrong. We were just seeking shelter from the rain." And the old man, let's roll for this. I mean, it could be tense, but I think it's calm for now, from a distance. And we'll roll. This is charisma, 11 or less. Roll again, interference. 9. Okay, it's success. So he's able to convince I forgot to lose my roll tray up here. Convince the old man that the old man lowers his weapon. He says, "You four are scared of some rain? You travelers look like you've been through hell." And the four look at each other. Our team obviously nods and says, yes, they have seen their fair share of goblins. So it's roughly, 10 a.m. in the morning? Well, the old man, he says, "Well, why don't you four come inside? I'll feed you, give you some food, some water if you need it." And the team says, I think Wolf will say, "That is very courteous of you, but we have plenty of food. We just must be on our way back south." And the old man, does he let them go? I'm going to say 75% chance. He does. He says, "So be it. Safe travels. Just stay off my property again. Just stay off my property." And he goes back inside. So they leave. They're back on F17. They go down to this tile here. It's more fields. Do they encounter anything here? It's a 25% chance. They don't. Okay. Next tile here, down the road. More fields. Do they encounter anything here? 30% chance. They do not. Interesting. Okay, now we're in tile I-15. I want to note that this tile here, F-18, is actually a farmhouse. There we go. Farmhouse. All right. Okay, as we're on tile I-15, do we encounter anything? 50% keeps getting riskier. We do not. Okay. This is actually going to be, let's see, a forest. Just on the edge of a forest. Now we're on this tile here. I'll put forest here. I'll put forest here. Okay. This tile will be a forest. We're almost reaching the town of Hexbury. Do we encounter anything here? 15. J15. 75% chance. 59. We do. Okay. Though it's not a threat. 59. Are these humans? 75% chance. They are humans. Is there more than one? 25% chance. 25% chance. Oh my gosh, it's just one human, and he's almost dead. 98. Okay, so they're interesting. We are in tile J15, and we encountered someone who's dying. Dying human. Interesting. This is getting interesting. Okay, so he's barely alive because that's hmm. This human, how old are they? Very old. Okay, so an old man. Oh, you know what? This old man is homeless. He's a beggar, so he's on the side. He's looks like he collapsed right in front of us as we're approaching. This could be a ruse, perhaps, for this old man. He's coughing. He's asking for help. He's raising his hand up. He's cloaked, like he's barely visible. You see a long gray beard, and I'm gonna just write that down here. Gray beard, cloaked, and he's begging for something. He says, "Food. I need food. Please, spare some food. I need water. Help me." He's begging for help. Wolf. Let's see how our team reacts. Wolf obviously will react. Rayla will ignore Theus and Darbus. Everyone else will react peacefully. Wolf will Wolf Wolf will give him a day's rations. So he's down to 6 now. Maybe some water, just a little drip of water. The old man takes the food, he eats it. He's leaning on his side, and as he eats the food, does something happen? I'm gonna roll for it. I'm gonna say 80% chance. Yep. Okay, so 64 is a good yes, a weak yes. So he slowly sits up, and the food's held. He's just completely devouring the bread or whatever was given to him, the dry rations. And he's enjoying it. He's still sitting down, but he's not leaning. He's not on the floor anymore, as if he was dying. He looks up to Wolf and thanks him. He says, "Thank you, sir. You have no idea how much this meant to me." And so, after feeding this old man, this mysterious man, the old man stands up and lowers his hood, his cloak. He removes his cloak off his hood off his face, to reveal a man with a beard, but he's a dwarf. Okay, so the connections here. This dwarf is homeless, but he is from a nearby stronghold in the cliffside. So let's say there's a mountain right here that I would say this is. Oh, I'm sorry, not a dwarf. Actually, yes. Let's change that to a dwarf. He looked like a human, but he's actually a dwarf. He's not dying anymore. He's old, cloaked. He's from this tile here. This is J19. And the name of that would be Cliff. This is gonna. Okay, I'm. Pause the video for a second. Okay, some Cheers fans will recognize this. Cliff of Claven. Because that sounds like a stronghold for dwarves. Cliff of Claven. So Cliff Claven. Um, this dwarf here, he thanks them. He's just a. Let's just say he's just a homeless dwarf. He's down on his luck, and he's just begging for food. He was kicked out perhaps of this home, and he made his way through the paths to Hexbury. And so I'm going to say that there's forests and mountains here surrounding this side of the map. Most likely like that. Forest. Forest. Okay. So I'll put a little symbol here to represent that there is a fortress of sorts, a stronghold for dwarfs. Maybe he was outcasted. Something happened to him. So our friends here, let's say the smartest character we have is undoubtedly our cleric. And he says, he whispers again. So here's how it transpired. I'm building these pieces together, the story blocks together. I was trying to make it to be some kind of big twist, but no. It's just a homeless dwarf who's outside of Hexbury begging for food. That's it. He's old, not an elder, but he's old. His beard is gray. Dwarfs live for what, 100 plus years, 150 plus years. So he is just eating his food. He's sitting there. His legs are crossed. He's sitting down, eating, smiling, looking up. He took off his hood. He thanked Wolf for the hospitality. Darbos walks up behind Wolf and whispers, "Wolf, perhaps this dwarf could be of use for us." And Wolf is thinking, true. He appears husky, well built. You know, he's a big guy. He's short though. Dwarfs. Let's take a look at dwarfs in this game. So, that's classes. We have to go to. Okay. Dwarves tend to live in underground cities. As such, dwarves easily take note of certain features. Don't work. Okay. So, I'm thinking of recruiting this dwarf as either a retainer or an actual fifth player character. I think because maybe the team knows that there is some dangerous areas here that this mountain range seeps into, and they have to cross. Perhaps the dwarf will know his way through the mountains if it need be. So, to get to, as a way to get the kingdom of Shadowscape. So, Wolf asked, he asked the dwarf where he's from, And does any of our team members know about the stronghold, the dwarf stronghold? Let's say, let me write down that that is a dwarven stronghold. Well, we can certainly do a roll for our smartest character. And this is a peaceful moment. It's calm, so we'll do a d20. This will be for Darbus. +1 roll. I'm sorry, no, not +1, just 16 or less. Does he know about the stronghold? He does. Okay. So Wolf does ask the dwarf, but then Darbus kind of leans over and says, I believe you might be from the dwarven stronghold east from here. Possibly. And then the dwarf interrupts and says, Yes, I am from. Yes, I am from the Cliff of Claven. We deliver mail for the area. So they have their own Exeter postal service. Now, basically, the dwarven says, yes, he's from the dwarven stronghold of Claven. Let's change it to the mountain of Claven. Or the peak, perhaps? The joke is too much on the nose, so I'm going to change that to the peak of Claven. Mainly just Claven. He says he's from the dwarven stronghold known as Claven, and he was on his way to get something from Hexberry, but he ran into a scuffle with the local villagers, and he got kicked out, and now he can't make his way back through to here. So Wolf is thinking about either helping him or using him. Wolf asks him, Are you welcome back to your home? Have you truly been outcasted? I'm going to say that's a 90% chance he is. Yep, he is. Okay. He says yes, but only for a few months. Just based on that roll of 85. He says yes, for a few months. So he was outcasted. He was banished, but temporarily, if that makes sense. Only for a few months. Maybe he has to just. Oh, you know what? He's serving his term of punishment. Serving a term of punishment. It's a maybe it's something that his family does. Whatever he did, he has to serve 3 months of punishment, and that is live outside of the stronghold. So he thought he would have come down, and his name is going to be. Let's give him a name. He introduced himself as Garlox. So Wolf asks him if he wishes to join. We're willing to pay if you can help us navigate our way back south. We need to get to the Shadowscape, the Kingdom of Shadowscape. Or I could make him a player character, or have him as a retainer. So to have hirelings, let's check out the rules for this part. I'm gonna get the open the rules here. Hirelings. So let's see. Hirelings. Morale is page 39. Okay, I don't see anything on hirelings. Hiring assistants, 28. Okay, so page 28. All right, so he would be a. Oh, dwarf. He's good with. I'm guessing he's good with tools or fixing up armor. 25 gold pieces. Let's say for 20, perhaps. Thinking, how much gold do we have? So 23, 65. Oh wow. Okay, so Theus has a lot of gold. 37 and 20 and 38. So we can't afford him if we do 20 gold pieces. Okay, so perhaps Garlox, Wolf says, we'll pay you to tag along. You can come with us. We're making our way down south. Perhaps you can help us if we ever encounter any problems. And so 20 gold pieces, he'll take it, and actually he'll take it for the entire way down there. So we'll pay him. Wolf will pay him. Okay, now we're down to 18 gold pieces. But we're gonna stop by the shops here in town. So now we officially have a retainer, a hireling. So I'm gonna write this down here. Garlox, dwarf. Okay, I'm about to get some stats for him eventually, but right now he is a hireling. But I might introduce him as a character after this episode, just to track him on paper. So for now, we'll give him AC of 15, perhaps, and his hit die, his HP will be, let's say, 6. All right, that works. So he's tagging along. We picked up a hitchhiker, and now we're gonna go into town of Hexbury. Now Hexbury is very busy. It's roughly let's see. Let's update our paperwork here. We're currently in tile K15. K15. It's roughly noon, and it's cloudy. So look at that. This is the town of Hexbury. Okay. And we're looking for a shop of potions. We find a shop. We enter. We're going to buy a potion for each character. That'll be 5 gold each, I'm going to assume. So Wolf will get 1 potion. He still has the Firestone. That's our original quest. So he pays 5 gold to the merchant. Okay. He's down to 13 gold. All right. Rayla will drop the spikes. She'll trade the spikes for the potions, and I think that will work. Well, to lower the cost of 4 gold. Spikes are only 1 gold, so she's down to 33 gold for a potion. Okay, and then Theus will get a potion. And he's down to 60 gold. Then Darbos will get a potion. And he's down to 18 gold. All right, excellent. Now, while we continue this episode, still want to keep going. I'm going to shift gears here. I've been doing some role playing, very, very light, but we will now zoom out a bit. I want to try a different method. I've done this before, macro play, which is the very generic perspective of things, not specifics. We'll get names, but not like facial details or actions or dialogue. We'll keep things very simple. So, we just left Hex. Oh, well, I think Wolf wants to. He has a AC of a helmet, shield, and the chainmail, so he's fine. But Theus wants to get a better weapon. I'm going to break the rules here and see where find a shop. And let's say there is a shop. So we enter the weapons shop. And the pull is going to be, let's check the game book here. A pull staff of sorts. D6. That's gonna be 1 gold. Okay, that's not bad at all. So I'll let him have a staff, a 1d6 for only 1 gold. That's nothing. Okay, so 59 gold. Anyone else need any weapons or armor? I think we're set. So now, with our retainer, with the Garlox, the dwarf, we make our way south. We starting to hit some hills here. And let's roll to see if we encounter anything here. 50-50, because this area is uncertain. 7, we do. Okay, so we encounter... That's a strong yes. So we encounter 3 enemies. Like I said, I'm going to be vague here. I'm going to do a test run on this one. We encounter 3 enemies. These guys will have, let's see, number 1, number 2, number 3. They'll have AC of, let's say, 12. They'll have a damage die of the 1d6 minus 3 again. They'll have HP of, let's say, 3, 3, and 3. Alright, they're just enemies. They are hostile because of the strong yes. So, let's roll to see who goes. Oh, right, we'll be rolling with my own modified house rules from combat. Trying out. I was hoping for another round of combat here because I want to work on that. Want to work on that issue. Okay, here we go. So the first enemy against Wolf. AC 16. We strike. So we deal D6 damage with his new longsword plus 2. 7. That's going to take out the first enemy. Alright. Okay, next is going to be Kayla. She's going to use a potion and heal, so using an item. I'll allow it. She's back to D6. I'm sorry, she's back to 6. Okay, here we go. Let's roll for her attack. Neither of them hit. Alright. Theus, with his staff, he rolls for attack. And he gets a hit. Good. He's going to roll for damage with a 1d6 flat roll. 6 damage, nice. Takes out the second enemy. Okay, now it's going to be the cleric, Darvos. Okay, so no one gets a hit. Alright, now it's back to Wolf. The remaining enemy. Oh, they get a hit on Wolf. That's a good one. 1d6 minus 3. Oh, let's use the red die. That's going to be just a flat hit of 1. So 6. Okay. So next is, I have to fix the labels here from conditions. There we go. Alright. This is going to be Rayla. Okay, Rayla gets hit with a d6 minus 3. 1. Alright. Next. Erase this condition again. This will be attack. This is Theus. Theus gets hit. 1d6 minus 3. That's a 3. Okay. So he's down to 1. He's hurt. He's the only one who hasn't modified the health. Barely, actually. He's down to 1. Okay. Now Darvos. Or cleric. Equal rolls. No one gets hit. Back to Wolf. This remaining enemy. That's a failed roll. Okay, no one gets hit. That's a fail. Oh, 12. That is a hit. Enemy did get a hit, actually. So Kayla gets hit. -3. That's a 1 flat. Okay. 4. Next is going to be Theus. Okay, no one gets a hit. Whoops. Yep. Hurry up. Now it's the Darbos. Darbos lands a hit, and hopefully this will be the finisher. D6 plus flat D6 roll the mace. 4. That's a hit. Okay, so these 3 guys have been defeated. All right. Now, gold pieces. Let's roll them up. The first one had 6 gold pieces. The second one had 14 gold pieces. The third one had 8 gold pieces. Okay. And any of these goons have weapons on them. Let's say, well, besides the ones I used, anything worth taking, 75% chance? Yes. All right, let's say they had a battle axe. So one of them had a battle axe, and that will be number 2. Okay. Who wants a battle axe? Let's go to... Now, I think clerics only have a blunt objects. We can't take that one. Wolf already has a battle axe, and no one else can qualify for that, so the rest is just gold. Alright, let's go back to Wolf. He'll take the 6 gold pieces, up to 19 currently. Alright. Next will be, we'll ignore the battle axe for now. 14 gold pieces will go to Rayla. So 47 currently for her. And then the remaining 8 will go to Theus for 67 gold pieces. Alright. They're all kind of very uneven amount of gold pieces too. Alright, so now they successfully defeated that bunch in K15, which was right here. I'm sorry, L15. Let's modify that. Oh, that was south of it, so I was correct. K15, that was L15, that combat round. So now we are moving down to the hills here. This is M15 here, and it's going to be 1 p.m. Some heavy rain in the area. So let's see here. Do we encounter anything? Because we've encountered these creatures before, where those monsters were enemies. Again, I'm playing macro play, just trying experimenting different methods of play here. 50% chance I'll get the tray. Oh, barely nothing. Okay, we do not encounter anything. Now we go to this mountainous part of the trail. This is going to be N16. Alright, so N16. It is 2 p.m. Still rain. Alright, do we encounter anything here? I'm going to say 60% chance we do. We don't. Okay, nothing of interest. Now we will be in O17. More mountains. O17. There, O17. 3 p.m. Rain has subsided, so now it's just... Actually, now it's snow. The weather's starting to change. It's becoming a little more colder up in the mountain range here. And we were going to travel to see if we encounter anything here. In this, 50% chance. We do. Okay. So 10, 50, that's going to be one enemy encounter. So let's see. Or two. Let's do two enemies. So 017, we're right here. Right here for now. And we have two enemies. That'll be two monster, perhaps. We'll give him AC of 13, a little tougher. Damage die of 1d minus 2. And let's see, 1, 2. HP of, let's say, last were 3. Let's do 4 this time. Okay, here we go. Okay, now let's continue. I'll get some water here. We have this encounter to handle. Two enemies. So two minions, basically. Here we go. Rolling for Wolf to attack first. Nobody hits, okay. Next, we have Rayla. No one hits. No one hits. 20 critical. Okay, they both hit. Okay, so they both get hurt. But double damage for Darvos. So I'm going to assume that he rolls for him for first. One, that's 2 damage. So he gets, that's 2. All right, so only, even with the critical, he still only hurts the first enemy down to 2. But the enemy themselves, 1d6 minus 2, that's a hit on Darvos. That's 4. So, okay, so Darvos is well, yeah. Darvos is unconscious. Now, down to 0. Okay, so he's out of the fight. Back to Wolf. Okay. Rolling. Okay, Wolf gets hit with a d6 minus 2 damage. That's 1 hit. That's 5. Okay. Next is going to be Rayla. I completely forgot the retainer. All right, we'll have to the dwarf will have to attack. So let's give him a current health. So 6 out of 6. And he has a damage die of a 1d6. So he attacks. Yeah, he needs an AC of, let's say, 15. So he attacks before we move on. Okay, he's able to. Neither of them get a hit. Okay, retainer. I completely forgot my retainer. All right, so Garlock's missed. Now it's Kayla. Nothing, but Kayla does get hit. Oh, this is not turning out too good. 1d6 minus 2. That's 4. Kayla is once again unconscious. So down to 0. -1 is death. That's why I picked up the dwarf. Okay, this turned out pretty funny. All right, let's roll for now. Theus. Theus is down to 1, but he's still in the fight. Okay, that's a hit. 1d6 the staff, 1 damage. Okay, so now the enemy's still down to 1. Next is Darvos. Triple damage for the enemy, and Darvos also deals damage. So let's do Darvos first. He rolls for his mace, 1d6. Ooh, nice, 6 damage, takes him out. But we do have to count the damage for the enemy. Oh, I'm sorry, that was the remaining one here. The 4 is still in the fight. Number 2 is still in the fight. But we got to roll for damage. 1d6 minus 2 plus 2 plus times 2. 1 times 2 is 2, so he is okay. Unfortunately, Darvo is killed. All right, so Darvos has been killed. That's just how I'm playing. The level is -1, and he's out. So we've lost a character. Darvos falls off the cliffside to his death, screams. Our team is furious, and I'll give a little rage boost out of our friend Wolf. Okay, so we lost a character. But now Wolf will have a bonus D4 roll for rage. Let's use a D4 for rage on attack only against the enemy. So 17, which is a hit, 2, didn't matter, it was going to hit anyways, so we are rolling for D6 damage with his +2 longsword. There we go. Defeated the enemy. So whoever that was, a bugbear or a snow beast, perhaps? If I want to give some labels to these guys. There we go. Okay, so they were creatures, they're mountainous creatures, so they do not have anything on them. So again, I will continue macro play, but I will try to at least moving forward give them these enemies names. So these were snow beast. Just something in the world of Exeter. Snow beast. They are killed. But again, memorial moment of silence for Darbos. He was slashed by one of the snow beast's claws and killed. So he fell off the side, which means all this stuff is gone down below. Sad moment. Moving forward, which means that Garlox will become a character in the next episode of the World of Havoc. Meanwhile, the snowstorm is getting fierce. We're currently in tile 017, sorry. And the snowstorm is now it snows now a snowstorm. So we lost, let's see, let me take note of this. Darbos is dead. He was our cleric, he was on the bottom right of the screen. Darbos dies, we sub camp. Waiting for the snow to pass. Let's go through each character. Wolf will take his potion, and he'll eat rations for today. Okay, next is let's see, he heals back to 8. There we go. Next is Kayla. Garlox has no health, no lost health. Kayla is rejuvenated. Heal back up to D4 based on my house rules, not with the potion. So 4 health, and then she takes the well, she'll just stick with 4 for now. But 3 will be Theus. He will take a potion and heal up back to 4. So his potion's gone. And he will also eat rations for today. There we go. So he's back up to 4. I forgot to give Theus also food. So she will take 1 ration out. There we go. All right. There we go. Good. So everybody's mostly recovered. And we lost a character, but we still have our retainer. Well, that's going to be it as we set up camp. Wait for the snowstorm to pass during midday. I'd say the time of day is 3 to 4 p.m. Let's say it's 017. It's 4 p.m. Blizzard. And we're setting up camp as we speak. So there we go. That's it for this episode. Almost 2 hours, which was, again, the first time I've done this in a while, besides using AI, and I can tell I'm very rusty. And combat was an absolute headache the first time, but I do like this method of just rolling the consecutive d20s parallel to each other, and then dealing the damage to whoever hits. Narratively speaking, role-playing wise, I am not happy with how things were in some moments, but I do prefer the macro play with names. So again, I'm experimenting, the purpose of my channel. I hope you guys enjoyed. I certainly did. It's been a while since I've done this traditional tabletop method of play. And the white box game, again, I'm not typically a fan of D20 games, but I'm sticking with it for these episodes. So thanks for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you next time for episode 2.